Hey everyone, I'm Bobby Loomis with Wingman Aviation in Tazewell, Tennessee. Today's video is about baffling, stock baffling versus DeShannon baffling on this Beech Baron 58P model. We're going to pull up the engine data from a flight with the stock baffling. We're going to review the engine temperatures, and then we'll do the same thing after installing the DeShannon baffle kit and look at the engine temperatures. We're going to compare the two and check out the averages of both and see what the difference is with the new DeShannon baffles. Let's get started. Alright everybody, here is the engine data from the last flight with the stock baffling. If you've never looked at engine data before, I'll give a quick explanation of what we're looking at. Over here we have the left engine data, over here we have the right engine data, and down here we have left and right engine RPM, turbine inlet temp, fuel flow for both engines. So let's look at these 6 colored lines. These are the cylinder head temperatures. And then these 6 colored lines are the exhaust gas temperatures. And this purple line is the turbine inlet temp. So up here we have left engine exhaust, cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, 4, 5, and 6. Left engine cylinder head temp, cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the turbine inlet temp. So the cursor here in the middle represents the moment in time, and we can see the EGT temps and CHT temps moving. All of this noise over here is engine startup, taxi, takeoff, climb to altitude. Now we're in cruise. And then we'll start our descent, landing, taxi, and then shut down. So we're going to put it right about here in the middle. Right about the middle, we have the left engine CHTs, 360s, 375, 350. I'm going to throw up the average on the screen for the cylinder head temps. And I'll throw up the average on the screen for the EGTs, exhaust gas temps, and I'll do the same for the left engine and the right engine. Alright, here is the engine data from the test flight with the DeShannon baffles installed. Before we go over this engine data, we're going to take a look at the flight. He took off out of Knoxville, climbed up to altitude, descended, made a practice approach into an airport, and then came back home. So he climbed up to cruise altitude of 14,400, descended, made his practice approach, climbed back up to 11,000, and then came home. So the area that we're going to concentrate on is this area here where he was up at altitude in cruise flight. So all of this noise here is startup, taxi, takeoff, climb to altitude, and then when he got to altitude, all of the EGTs and CHTs started to come down and level off. So the area where he was at 14,400 feet in cruise is this area here. And on the engine temp side, it's this area here. So because the EGTs and CHTs were stabilizing and coming down, we're going to look at the very end of his cruise altitude here. So right before it drops off, before he pulled power back and started his descent into his practice approach. So we're going to get numbers right about here. So just eyeballing, I can already tell that EGTs came down considerably. He was in the high 1400s before the Baffles, and he was in high 300s, touching 400 on CHTs, and so all of those are much lower. So I'll throw up the averages on the screen for the left engine for cylinder head temp and EGT, and then I'll throw it up on the screen for the right engine, CHT and EGTs. So if you're battling high cylinder head temps or high EGTs, there's lots of things to consider. With this airplane, we wanted to go through the engines first to make sure everything was in good order. The good compression, good spark, good fuel, good mechanical valve train before we started diving into changing out the baffles. So if you're battling high CHTs, make sure you have good compressions, not weak compressions. Make sure you have good cam and lifters. I had a plane come in recently. Cam and lifters were spalled, and it was not opening and closing the valves at all on those cam lobes that were worn out. Are your push rods the correct length? I had one come in where 3 of the 8 push rods were too short, so the valves were not opening and closing on time, just robbing that engine of power. Is your ignition timing set correctly? Your magnetos or your ignition system within 500-hour inspection? Are your spark plug gaps set correctly? Is the fuel injectors and the fuel screens clean? Is the fuel system been tuned? Is your metered and unmetered fuel pressure set correctly to feed those injectors? Do you have any induction leaks? Check for bad gaskets, loose clamps. Is the engine achieving manifold pressure at the power settings that you're giving it? Is your high temps with cowl flaps open or cowl flaps closed? That's a huge factor. And also another huge factor is the outside air temperature of the day. So during the test flight with the stock baffling, it was a much warmer day. So we're taking outside air temperature into consideration compared to the test flight day with the DeShannon baffles installed. It was a much colder day, so we're taking the OAT into consideration. We made sure that both of those engines had good spark, good compression, good fuel, good mechanical valve train before we decided to spend the time, money, and resources to install the DeShannon baffles on those engines. And I think it made a considerable difference. They work very well. I believe that the lower CHTs and lower EGTs, the main contributing factor was the DeShannon baffles. So yes, I do think they're worth it. It's a great product. I'm not sponsored by DeShannon in any way. I'm just giving my 2 cents on what I think of the product, and what the customer is very happy with the results of putting the DeShannon baffles on. So if you like videos like this, you want more content like this, shoot me an email if you have any recommendations on what you want to see next. Make sure to hit that like button, share this video, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.